Well, good afternoon, class. I know this is fourth period, but we're going to try to entertain you and explain some really great elements in picture books, thinking about your assignment with your prophet. I'm Mr. Lum and Mrs. FB is here as well, and I'm going to share my screen with you. So we're going to look at design elements, like what really makes a great picture book. So if you think about picture books that you read when you're a young child, or maybe you have a young sibling that you read picture books to in the evening, what really makes a great picture book? Think about that. Oops, sorry. And we want you to go to menti.com and use the code. Mrs. FB is going to put it in the code 5370616. And Annie, could you put the code on the board, or if it's already on the board, so the students can see the code? So it's menti.com. The code is 5370616. And what makes a good picture book? So answer that question with a short couple words, and you can submit more than one answer if you'd like. We have a couple of people. I'll wait till we get a few more people inputting their answer. What makes a good picture book? At menti.com, M-E-N-T-I. 4 people have shared.
Mr. Lum.
Yes.
Sorry, I was having in my group. We just didn't know what the password was for the Oxford Bible. We kind of forgot, and I couldn't find my planner, so I couldn't get the password again. Do you know what the password is?
Yeah, we'll put it in the Zoom chat.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, people have put in some answers here.
I'll find that, Gregory.
Okay, here we go. So colors, pictures, not too much writing, imagination, colorful, larger font, simple, good covers, fun drawings, creative, happy, simple. Nice, good comments, people. Good job. So these are some covers Miss FB is going to be talking about.
Oh, sorry, I'm doing the other thing.
I can talk about it if you want me to.
That's, but you can finish it. You can go ahead and finish that. So there's some different covers here. This one just used colored pencils and did some pretty simple line drawings. The next one shows a lot of color and movement. Movement is really good, but also some simple lettering. This one uses a lot of white space, but also has a lot of bright color in it. So keep in mind using negative space. This one does some fun things with font and makes leads your eye up to the big part of the page. If Dominican were a color, sorry, this one is about color and uses lots of color in both the pictures and the letters. So think about doing that. And this last one is called Box, and it has all the pictures in boxes. So think about trying to be clever and creative, but also you don't have to be super fancy. The I Miss My Grandpa or Another When I'm Big, those are not real fancy. This cover, or these covers, are from a zine project that we did with another class, and you're not doing a zine, but the idea of doing a cover is similar. A couple of things that they did, and you can create all your art on the iPad if you want, or you can create art on paper and then just take a picture and paste that into your Pages document. They did some hand stamping on the left one and made kind of an arched shape, so an interesting shape. They also used washi tape, which they used throughout. So you may want to think about a design element that you're going to take through the book. The one on the right did dark font on a light background, so reverse text. Or sorry, that's not the one. On the bottom, the yellow one, the yellow font on the black background is reverse text. Sorry, but then the other one they did the opposite. Sorry about that. On this one on the left, they used borders to make their font stand out and to make their picture stand out. So that's something you might think about. The one on the right used ransom note letters, she cut all those out, put them on little backgrounds, and then she also used little stickers that she got. And we're not asking you to buy anything special for this project, but if you're somebody who is crafty and likes to do that, this might be an opportunity for you to have some fun. So these two covers, I'm gonna ask you to look at them for just a minute, and then we're gonna have the people with last names A through K respond to something they like about the one on the left, and the L through Z people respond to something you like on the right hand cover. So look at those for just a second. For A through K, you're gonna go for the left. For L through Z, you're gonna go for the right. Same Menti 5370616. A through K, what's something you like about the left cover, and L through Z, something you like about the right. Go ahead and just type your responses in, short responses.
And actually, if you're on the left, put L hyphen and then make your comment, or if you're on the one on the right, put R hyphen. That way we can tell what your comment is.
R if you're on the right.
We have 3 people, 4 people. I'm gonna wait till we get a few more before we see the responses. Give everyone a chance to respond. So people in the classroom respond as well as people on Zoom at home. We have 9 responses. I think that's a decent amount. Let's look. The border is cool, simple and effective. I like the heading on the right. The left, the color on the cover. The left, it is very colorful and colors add contrast. The pink border is fun. I like the bright pink background that borders the picture. The one on the right, I like the cursive writing. I like the good choice of font and like the fading of colors on the right. Good responses, people. Nice job. Looking back over to the presentation here. So what makes a good comic? So another opportunity is for you to do a comic. So again, these can be hand-drawn if you want, and then taken a picture of, or you can actually create it on your iPad if you want. The one on the left is 4 frames. You notice the top 2 frames are the outside because they have the blue sky in the background, the green grass. She trips over the rock. And oh, what happens? She has to go to the doctor because he has a stethoscope and his headlamp thing. And she got her cast on the last frame. So there is some text on each frame. Again, this is an opportunity. Stick figures work totally fine. The one on the right shows a little close-up of some feet, and you can tell like they're moving, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And then you zoom out and you can kind of see she's gonna touch that guy, and what happens? He gets zapped. I'm sure you've seen that or done that before. Here's a couple other examples, 4 frames again. This is some washi tape, the one on the left to create her border. The one on the 3rd frame, I like how different perspective, zooming in closer, just you see her hand taking notes. So that works out well too. I believe this person used a comic app and then did her own handwriting on the drawing, I believe.
Yeah.
The one on the right is created on iPad, 4 frames. The text is outside the frames, which is totally fine. Again, it's stick figures. We know what's happening. And then your hair gets all frizzy when you touch that balloon that you rubbed on. So think about the different options with comics.
Another thing you will definitely want to do is add some visual interest with color. Color is really important for picture books, obviously, but you can do other things to add visual interest too. Like this person put borders and then used some of those fun, funky scissors. So if you have any of those laying around your house, you might want to check into those, but you can create borders in other ways as well. The person on the left here used the little punches from a hole punch, and she used that throughout her book. So she carried her design throughout the book. The person on the right used those fun letters, and she carried that throughout the book, as well as the washi tape. And she used a little skeletons throughout her thing because her topic was x-rays. So obviously you wouldn't be using skeletons, but you might think about something, for example, if you had Jonah, you might want to use a little whale that you put on every single page. And it's also something like, think about a children's book, something fun for the kids to find. Where's the whale on this page? Where's the whale on this page? This is another great idea, collaging. On the bottom right, you see a couple examples the students did last year. all you have to do is rip up little pieces of paper. You can use tissue paper or even construction paper, and you just glue them back together kind of in the shape of something. So there's a couple other examples there. The big one on the left, that person actually also used buttons and yarn and different things in their collage, which you can do. And you just then take a picture of it and put it into your project.
We're going to now look at some examples from actual picture books. So the one on the left here with the three wise men, it goes across 2 pages. The text is only on one. On the left side, there's some really good negative space on the right. So it's a nice example here. The other 2 are 2-page spreads going across both pages. This girl in the middle is in the gutter, which is totally fine. Text is only on one side of the page. Remember, you don't have to fill, but you can kind of get visually what it might look like. The one on the bottom right also has some sunshine, and technically the sun would not be in her room because the sun would be outside, but you're getting the idea that it's morning, she's waking up from bed. So that's just an interesting perspective to think about too. The one on the left with the boy and the cat are actually 2 scenes. So the boy's on the inside with the parsley and the cat is eating the grass on the outside, and the text is actually 2 separate sentences. Kind of, there's a big space between, so you do know what's happening in both of those scenes. The one on the right with the big, large animals kind of in the background, showing how large they are. And then the little small animals in the front with the mouse and the ants. It shows really great perspective, very simple text.
You can have fun with fonts too, and you should think about using one normal consistent font that you can use for most of your text. It should just be a really basic, easy to read font, but then you can do different things and interesting things for things like headlines or your cover, or maybe some call outs, or if you want to show movement or show differences. So you can look at things like size and style and color. You can put light on dark like we talked about. Notice the yellow on the word color does not show up very well. So yellow on white isn't very good, but if you look at the yellow that we have on the slide, on the brown, it shows up great. So you want to think about your background too. So we'll show you some different ways that they used fun fonts. Hand lettering is a great way to use, make some visual interest. And I know a lot of students are really good at hand lettering. So you wouldn't hand letter your whole thing, but you would just put some of it in hand lettering to make it more interesting. That drop cap, the big G there, that's called a drop cap, and those are sort of interesting to use. Firecat font. Now, you would not want to make your whole entire book in Firecat font. That would be insane, but it's really good. Like, it would be super cool for a title. So you can look at some interesting fonts out there and see if there's something that you can use for yours. Some other ideas, you can see on the far left one, it sort of shows some movement there, and then the font is getting bigger as they're getting louder. The right hand, or the top right there with the thunder and the dripping and the dropping, you can see the rain is going every which way. The lightning's coming and it's yellow. So some interesting things done there. The little fish with the words going around. You wouldn't want to do this again on every page, but every once in a while for something that doesn't have a ton of text, it might be fun to do something like that. And then the lamb slide I like because it shows movement. So the lambs are sliding and so are the letters. And I don't know if you can really see, but those letters also kind of look like lamb's fur. Here's another example, Trumpf, and you can see the O's pop up because they're getting blown up by the air that's coming out of that crazy horn, whatever it is. And then you can see over on the picture on the right, not a great photo, but you can see how the Trumpf letters are very big, but then underneath the bottom line of text is just a line of regular looking text. So again, you don't want to use the crazy text all the time. Here's one last page of examples. I grabbed my bicycle and then the limousine, they put the letters in the limousine. Pedaling faster, you can see how those letters lean, like a little bit of movement. And then the few red lights down there at the bottom, you can see that the red was in the lights. The snowflakes one, the snowflakes fall flake after flake after flake, they're falling down the page. And then on the right-hand side, the lion and the mouse, the king needs help and his little friends, that's little, and his great friends are large. So you can think about that.
So now, not only do you have a story, but you have to think about some other things. So in a book, there's what's called the matter. So the front matter, that's before the story, and the back matter is at the end of the story. So in a book, we want you to type in, what is something that you find at the beginning of a book or at the end of a book?
In the Menti.
In the Menti. Same thing, menti.com. What is something that you see at the beginning of the book? And what do you see something at the back of the book? You can comment on either one.
Any of the things you can find in those places.
And I'll open up the responses. Once we get a few more than 4 responses, we should end up with at least 20 or so, 22 maybe. Menti.com, that same code, 5370616. 6 responses, 7. What do you find before the story starts or after the story ends? 7 people. Let's take a look. Copyright, the title, the dedication.
Ooh, reflective questions. Nice. Glossary. Good. More pictures.
Additional facts. Table of contents. Okay.
Copyright. Good. Lots of good,
Okay.
good responses there. Nice.
Sorry. So in the front matter, the ones in red are the ones that are required for this project. You're going to have a blank page before the title page. There's a dedication. So you and your partner can work together and think of one dedication for your book, or if you want to have separate dedications. So, you know, you could have up to 3 dedications on one page or just one dedication. It's your choice between you and the rest of your people in your group. Also some publication information and also a title page. In the back, you're going to have a required about the author. So that's in third person, a few sentences about each of you that are writing about Prophet, your picture book. You also have to have a little bibliography there. And the ones in blue are some other examples that you'll need to have. So you'll brainstorm as a group because maybe one person wants to do a timeline, someone wants to do some prophetic jokes. Maybe someone wants to do a word search.
I want to read a prophetic joke.
Yeah, so my question to you is, how are you going to profit from this project?
Oh, nice one, Mr. Lum.
My son told me that joke at lunch. I told him I'd tell everyone.
Good job, James.
So here's some actual examples. Here's the one with the map going across 2 pages. This one's some further reading, so going beyond this. So if you had a further reading, you might list some other examples of some other books by the same prophet. This is just a food web. We thought this was hand-drawn. This is what for one of the biology projects last year. So you might think of maybe you could create a hand-drawn something that would be relevant to your prophet. This lists all the different mediums that was used for this poetry book that had 1 poem per piece of artwork. So it talked specifically about what mediums they used for each of the art. So maybe it was watercolor or pastel or collage. Historical note is another possibility. So it gives you some additional information in regards. So maybe you want to have some more history behind the picture book of your prophet. Useful sources, so they have some websites, you can't really see them, some books and some more books from that author. So you could think about that as well. A couple of them also just have if you look at the sides, the tops and around the side and bottom, they did some clever use of design and font and color, like to create some nice edging. Here's some sample back matter from the chemistry projects that the students worked on. You could have find the difference between the 2 photos. This was done on a comic app. So then they removed some different things and added some things for the second picture. And here's a crossword puzzle. So you could have a crossword puzzle on your prophet. We just don't want to have 3 crossword puzzles. So you and your partners have to decide together what you're going to choose to have in your back matter. So that's really important.
You have 3 different choices.
Glossary is another possibility. These are 2 variations. One's black ink on the white background, and here's yellow and white on the black background. They both have that little nice artwork around the sides.
I'm going to guess those designs also are matched in the story too.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
2 timelines. This is a 2-column timeline on the left, straight text with the dates separate by the years on its own line. And then here, It's just one column. They have the year and a description, but then they threw in a couple illustrations there, just different looks. Here's 3 about the authors. The one on the right is the one that you're going to create, except you're going to have 3 people. If you're the 3 people in a group or 2 people, so you'll have a picture of yourself in Jesuit appropriate clothing, and then 3 sentences about yourself told in 3rd person. So Aggie Alfred is a 16-year-old junior at Jesuit High School. You wouldn't say, I am a 16-year-old junior at Jesuit High School. Okay. Then here's 2 other about the authors from actual picture books. This is that Dominican is full of color book. So again, that color, the bright colors is throughout the whole book. And then they have the about the author and probably the illustrator. Brianna's the illustrator. And then Tommy DiPiola, really wonderful author illustrator. He has a picture of himself as well. So again, you have to have a picture to get your full credit. And then your work consultant citation, you just need to have 1. For this other assignment, they had to have between 3 to 5, I believe. So in the Menti, we want you to think about this. What's one takeaway that you just learned about good picture books that you're going to implement in your picture book?
One way you've profited from this presentation.
A good one. What's one takeaway? Go ahead and type that in this Menti 5370616.
Pop something in there quickly because we still have one more part and I really would like to give you a little bit of time to work. So quickly get something in there.
Short responses are fine. Don't worry about complete sentences. We have 4 responses. I'm going to go ahead and look because we're going to move on. 6 responses. Bright colors, amount of styles. Bright colors, first impression. Good. Info about the author. Try interesting fonts and colors. Nice job. Way to go.
Good. Fun things for kids. Good. 3rd person background. Nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Pictures that will hook the reader. Yes, hooking the reader is very good. It's very important. Bright colors. Good.
Yeah. Wow. Perfect. Nice job, people.
Readable fonts. Yeah, very helpful to have readable fonts. Good job. Good work.
So planning, on the homepage, I'm going to show you these the different tabs that you're going to be looking at. So we have our homepage here. On the homepage, there are some links. The assignment link, the group assignments, you already know about those. So these 3 there's a planning sheet, a storyboard sheet, and the rubric. And then quickly going to show you those. Let's do the rubric last, sorry. So this is your planning template here. So you can jot down what's, the profit, what are some of the problems that happens to the profit, and there's, is there any resolution that you can put in the final one? And then you can jot down a few pages. Yeah. The next one is just a quick look at actual pages. So this is the back cover, what's going to be on the back cover, what's going to be on the front cover. You can even put a
super quick little jot something down so you have an idea. You don't want to spend a ton of time on this.
This is that blank page. This will be totally blank, but here's the title page. And what's on the title page? The title, the authors, the publisher, publication information there. And here's your dedication. You might put initials by who's in charge of which pages all the way through to the end, the back matter. So be thinking about that as well. And the rubric, so this can be graded by all 3 of us, Ms. Steyert, Mrs. FB, and myself. So we're grading certain portions, and you can look at this more detail. There's a video about how it's going to be graded, but we just wanted to show you
the video. So Mr. Lim, can you go to the databases and reference tab? The person who asked about where they can find their usernames and passwords missed the big box at the top that says you can email lost passwords or you can log into the portal. So either of those ways will get you to the username and password that you need, and you will see that it is JHS and Crusader for this project. Okay. All right, so Mr. Lum's going to stop sharing and I'm going to start sharing. Whoops, only the host can share, it says. Uh-oh. Angela, can you make me a co-host too? Or Gregory, can you make me a co-host? Sorry.
Done.
Thanks. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Start my broadcast. Perfect, thank you. So there we go. All right, so we have created for you a template in Pages that Ms. Steyert will be giving to your class on our Canvas page. And only one person from each group is going to download that template. So one person will download it and then that person will name it and will share it. I think we might have forgotten to do the naming thing. So let me just go to this for real quick here and talk about how you're going to name it. Sorry, I have to get there on my thing. So when you name your template, you're going to put your prophet's name, underscore, and your period. So it's going to be Alicia underscore and then period 4 for your class. All right. So think about just in your head, what's your template going to be called? So who's your prophet? And then what period you are. Okay. So those are how you're going to name it. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the template here and show you how it's set up. So you have, for example, right here on this back cover, you're going to see that it says back cover, delete this text. There are a lot
Can you
of
make
places.
this a little bit bigger? It's kind of small for the kids.
You know, I'm on my iPad, so I'm not sure. Let's see if I can do one page at a time, if that helps. Is that better? That should be better.
Yeah.
Okay, so back cover, delete this text. A lot of places where you'll see that you have to delete text. Here, for example, it tells you to add a blurb from a classmate. So we try to tell you what you need to do in each thing, but all of this is totally customizable. So I put our names in here, and then I can move that around to anywhere that I want to. All right. Cover page, delete this text. You can delete this picture, obviously, and put in your own picture. Here it says to leave the page blank. And then as you go down, it tells you what to do. Who's the title? Who are the authors? You'll leave Start Publishing. Here's your dedication page, and then begins your story. And I'm just going to show you real quick that we have all these story pages. And these are the side-by-sides, but we'll look at them one at a time just so you can see. Most of them are very similar. So you can replace the picture. This is called lorem ipsum text. It's just nonsense text. It's just placeholder text. You don't have to put your text that way on that page. You can do it any way you want. We just provided you with some different layouts. Here's a layout where it's just the picture on the page. Okay. Here's a picture and some text. Here's a picture on the side and some text, but you can change them to be any layout you want. Here, I just showed you that I put in my own picture. So I drew this with my watercolor pencils, then I took a photo and I inserted it in. This picture I created on my iPad and then I inserted it in. And these pictures I created on one of the comic book generator apps and inserted it in. So lots of ways you can do that. And then all these are just story, 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 until you get down to here. And then this is the back matter. So you have 1, 2, 3 back matter pages. You'll choose from the list Ms. Stark gave you, and each person has to do at least one of the back matter pages. Okay. And then your last page is your about the author page. You have 3 little selfies in case there are 3 people in your group. If there are only 2, obviously we would only have 2. Take out anything you don't need. And then you're about the author in your 2 to 3 sentences. And then right here at the bottom is your work consulted, where you need to paste your database entry. Remember that the only concern we have for formatting this time is just to remove that http://. Anything else doesn't matter for this particular project. Okay. All of this is completely customizable. If you're having any trouble, you can let us know, but really important that only one person in your group downloads the template, then renames it, then shares it with everybody else in your group. Okay. So I think you have about 9 minutes or so left. Is that right, Angela?
Yeah, they have 11 minutes.
Okay. Oh, good. Perfect. Okay. So what we're going to ask you to write in the Menti right now. Go to the Menti, and we want you to put in what is your what is your the name of your group's template going to be. Mr. Lum, do you have that by chance?
I do. Are you
Awesome.
gonna stop sharing?
I'm gonna stop sharing. So right now, go and put down what is the name of your template going to be. And then Ms. Stiert, as soon as we've got that, she can put you back in your groups. Jonah_4. Look at you people.
Let me read the comic. So this is Archie and Jughead, and they're doing a group project. Quiet, Jug. We've got to get this group project finished. I'm hungry. I'm off to the lunchroom for a snack. And the last frame says, I told you it was a mistake to include a pie chart in our report. Okay, I need to see some little laughter, smiles, people. You have to entertain me, you know?
Yeah. Okay, let's see what you got for the names.
Let's see. Oops, what happened? I don't know why that one
Micah
updated,
period
sorry.
4. Micah, make sure you spell Micah right. Hosea.
Okay.
It should say underscore period 4. So those of you who
Micah Prophet to change
just
it.
put a 4, make sure you pay attention. And then Micah Prophet of Change. Not sure where that came from, but okay. So make sure that you have it named correctly. Those who Daniel underscore period 4. Good. Okay.
Are there any
When you
questions?
go- any questions? Yeah, any questions? So when you go to your groups, you need to pick one of your people to download the template, rename it, and share it. So decide in your group first who's going to do that, and then you can get started on organizing a little bit.
All
If you have any
right, so
if you have any questions, email library@jesuitmail.org and we're glad to help you.
Yes.